very quickly. What's the one thing that he has to cut on in order to do a 10 pool? Well, obviously drones, and
Yep.
as a result, minerals.
Hmm.
So gas is always easy to catch up on, or is an easy way to catch up on a build that's low on minerals because you just put 3 drones in there and you're instantly getting mass gas production. Or max gas production. So he's going for the Zergling speed. He's not going to rely on something more mineral heavy like roaches for defense. And I think that everything that we're seeing out of Ike is just a very smart play. Going for Stargate, staying conservative with the gateways. He might try some sort of little push, but this is certainly going to be a long game.
I think so. Especially after that opening. That certainly holds Ike's development back somewhat, and TLO, of course, having to play catch-up in his economy anyway, and we're seeing Phoenix is coming out from Ike, really great map control, going to start shutting down Overlords, of which there are a couple around the map he'll be able to pick off. This one from TLO is going to see the Stargate. I mean, he knows that one's forfeit anyway, so he's not overly concerned, but TLO sending the other one back towards his natural, so he may get away with that. It depends whether or not the Phoenix is headed in that direction.
Ike is getting himself a very solid recovery. Generally, the big question is, what is the gas timing for Ike? We're seeing Ike do what could be considered a little bit of a concerning play. He wasn't building anything out of the Stargate, which is one of two things. Either him forgetting to build the Phoenixes and falling behind, or maybe him trying to trick TLO, but there's not any good tricks that you can pull by building a Phoenix and then stopping Stargate production.
Yeah, that doesn't really do much. In reality, you want a decent number of Phoenixes so you can start doing harass with them. If you've only got a couple, the only thing you can really do is kill Overlords and scout a bit, which a Zerg player is not going to leave a bunch of Overlords lying around for you to find. They will put them in awkward spots, and of course they will pull them back when they feel that they are in vulnerable positions. In the meantime, TLO going for the Roach Warren here, and just building up his drone count, which, as I think it was you who mentioned yesterday, is absolutely the right thing to do against Phoenix. Just build more drones, build more queens, spread more creep, and get hatcheries.
And I mean, often we'll see players sort of try to exploit that by going for Phoenix and Warpin, but in this position, TLO knows exactly how little money Ike has. That Nexus is very delayed. The pressure from the ground is going to be very delayed. So, I mean, very gentle Overlord harassment, very gentle Phoenix play is I think, a very nice play from Ike.
It does the job. He only even had 2 there to pick off an Overlord, and TLO's response time. I think maybe TLO was thinking, oh, I don't really want to go towards those Phoenixes because maybe a couple more come behind them, and then it picks up the Queen, and then it kills the Queen, which is way worse than losing just an Overlord. But whatever the case, nice pickup there, and Ike now with 4 Phoenixes on the field, picking off a couple of drones here and there.
Yeah, 5 tends to be the nice money amount that allows you to lift a queen and kill it in a single lift
Yep.
very easily. Seeing the Robo Bay come up, I mean, Ike is doing the most, in my eyes, the most standard build. Phoenix Harass to both deal damage and to steer your enemy Zerg away from going to Mutalisks. And then you instantly go Colossus and expand. There's just not that much pressure that Zerg can do about it.
TLO is just running around the map, mostly just losing links to that very active mothership core of Ike there. It's not been a high-cost game up to this point, as you can see, but Ike has not actually lost a single unit, unless you count a gateway as a unit.
Which would be weird.
It would be a little bit weird. They don't really do much. They're the most immobile unit in the game. Ike's going to head out and keeps an eye on that Roach push as well. TLO wants to do a bit of pressure here. He's going Tunneling Claws. Oh, it's the double Roach Warren play.
Oh, this is a great timing push play. I mean, what's happening right now is that Ike, look at his positioning. It's all relied on these force fields. So, of course, Ike's going to throw down these force fields and feel really proud of himself. They're great plays. I mean, incredibly good force fields from Ike. He's actually going to be able to keep every single sentry alive.
Very
as
nice.
nice as that is. This
It's a trick.
Yeah, it's a trick. This entire third expo is designed to rely on these thin chokes.
Yep.
You need to be able to force field on these, and with the tunneling claws, you won't be able to do it.
No. No, he will not. Admittedly, there is an Immortal out in the field. There is a Colossus on the way and a Void Raid. There's only one Observer. And it looks like we're not going to see any more out of Ike because he wants to build Colossus, he wants to build Immortals, he wants to build those really high power units, and he will skip out on building more Observers, and this could catch him completely off guard. TLO is setting up. He's ready to go.
At the same time, I mean, We're seeing Void Rays get produced. That will definitely put a damper in this Tunneling Claw ability. And we even see, I mean, Ike, I think, smells something. He's leaving the Observer with his army, which is very uncommon at this stage.
Well, he knows now because that upgrade does give that visual effect. However, TLO is splitting up his units, knowing, oh, you probably only got one observer, so let's go and try and fight in two separate places here. Burrow comes up, TLO is able to get the health back on those roaches, loses a few in the vanguard there, but now the main force is coming in. He's drawn the army away from the third base, and now he's going to do some damage.
Wow, Ike is playing this out very, very nicely. He just needs to throw down a couple extra force fields. Oh my god, those move fast underground.
Yes, they do.
Oh my god, that pass change. Oh.
Wow. That Colossus taking some damage. However, Ike's able to get it back behind the buildings. Really nice maneuvers here. Does he have enough units? It looks like TLO's attack is slowly starting to die.
I mean, Ike has just transitioned almost along every tech path, swiftly and brilliantly. He now has 6 gateways, a couple Void Rays, a Colossus, a very efficient mix. We're seeing Ike add on. Actually, does he have the range upgrade for the Colossus yet? It looks like he does. I don't really know where Ike got the gas to do this, but TLO feels committed to going only roaches.
Alright, well, he's going to go for it again. It is a very small army. He's fighting up against it. Kills the Colossus immediately. He may have enough roaches to actually make this work. They are not that upgraded, though. He went in there with 0-0 versus Ike's 2-0 units, which generally doesn't work out well, especially when you've got an Immortal in the mix and a Void Ray and a Nexus Cannon. And TLO quickly realizes, no, this is a bad idea. Let's pull back. But yeah, he's continuing to go roach heavy. He's currently only going up against a single Robo. So Ike loves Colossus. Yeah, TLO probably knows this, having watched it. Ike went Colossus in pretty much every game he played. So TLO's saying, all right, well, you can either build Colossus or Immortal. If I can keep that, try to harass that third base, maybe you can't get enough gas to go double Robo. But TLO's losing a lot of roaches here, and this is not going well for him.
Yeah, he's losing tremendous amounts of units.
He is in the third, though.
Oh gosh, TLO's classic with these sorts of splits.
He's doing damage to the gas mining, very deliberately, I would imagine, and producing yet more roaches, getting some of his own upgrades. He's still been out-upgraded, but the gap is starting to close here. This is an inefficient way of doing things, but he does have 4 bases, and he's harassing Ike's third so that Ike can't efficiently mine from it.
I mean, TLO is really a master at managing multiple battles on multiple fronts. He's just splitting his roaches. I mean, the roach is really an ideal unit for TLO to be able to showcase that exact skill. Ike is a little bit skimping on the gas at this point. He's actually transferring workers from his natural expansion to his third. His probe count's pretty low at 55, and he's going to eat a few more losses. This army is increasingly getting more and more deadly for Ike.
It is indeed. There's still only 1 observer on the field. TLO took a lot of damage, though, because Ike has kept that with his army. That's a lot of dead roaches. The Colossus goes down, but at what cost? 118 roaches have died so far in this game. I think that was a little excessive. It's 13,000 resources lost to 7,200. This looks like an old-school TLO versus Soke game, where Soke would just not lose any units. And I think that last roach attack may have been a little impetuous. However, Zerg Missile Attack Upgrade Level 2 is about to finish. There are more roaches going around. I want to see those splits, because as you pointed out, TLO's really good at it, and there's only 1 observer, and it's with the army, always.
Yeah, and this is a really interesting series of decisions by Ike. If you look at the gateway count, it's only just now gotten to 9. He favored building these 3 cannons at the natural expansion, and TLO is still breaking through again and again. I mean, Ike is desperate to apply any attacking pressure that he can. Desperate to, but TLO's never going to let him.
No. And this burrow play is really, really nice here from TLO because there is still only 1 observer. So, and there are actually no cannons in the main. So these guys are going to be really annoying. They're going to force this army to split up. Pops up, does a little bit of probe damage, pops down again. Ike forcing TLO's army back here. And Ike needs to do some damage, and he knows it. He's going for the 4th base. And he's going to try and do some damage here. Let's see if he can. He's got the Void Ray count, and really, let's be honest, TLO doesn't have that much that can shoot up, so this could end up going really wrong for the German.
Yeah, we're starting to see those burrowed roaches at every angle up in the main base of Ike. Weren't able to get any damage done.
No, not really.
So many units from TLO. Jeez. GG's! I mean, the number of queens, insane. 8 at that battlefront right now, and we're seeing the Burrowed Roach antics from TLO pierce through. I can't believe TLO's still able to pull this off.
This is actually ridiculous. I think I thought at that point, oh, well, there's so many Void Rays, but actually with 9 queens, those Void Rays don't actually do that much. They're not upgraded either, so they might be getting decent amounts of kills, but the economy of TLO is beastly. He is sitting on 4 bases, he's got fantastic lava production, and now he adds swarm hosts into the mix. This gets even more difficult for Ike to deal with.
Absolute monster play here by TLO. Archon's really good choice, but the Colossus count, the TLO's been keeping lower and lower and lower all game long, means that those swarm hosts don't really have an enemy.
Not really. Going up the choke, he does get time warped, but that doesn't really matter so much. That's a lot of energy that just got used, and there really isn't all that much energy remaining, enough for one more. Ike's Phoenixes are sitting around just feeling sorry for themselves at this point, because they can't really do anything, especially not with 8 queens on the map and innumerable spore crawlers. TLO is going for the attack, and I love this decision. 2-pronged attack, queens and swarm hosts on one side, roaches on the other.
Instant death on the Forge. I mean, no amount of any force fields are going to keep those roaches away from pressuring. I mean, this is such a cool way to play, and of course, the classic answer to Swarm Hosts, go where the Swarm Hosts are not. And it looks like Ike's choice is to just counterattack to the 4th.
Unfortunately for him, there's a ton of roaches still, so that might not be the best of ideas. TLO actually drawing the army towards the swarm host. There are a couple of observers in here. This could be key for Ike. If he's able to destroy this army here, he's going to swing this back in his favor. And TLO is actually dedicated to attacking the 3rd.
I'm not sure. TLO, I think, just sent those roaches a little bit too quickly over to that base. He thought this position was a little bit too strong, and this could be a disastrous moment for TLO.
It is looking that way. A lot of swarm hosts died, a lot of queens died. TLO GG's!
GG's!
What? One mistake!
Game.
Wow. Ike makes the greatest call, and TLO doesn't. Resulting in that happening.
Wow. I mean, TLO's mined out at the main, almost mined out at his natural, almost mined out at his 3rd. I mean, that was an incredible series of defenses by Ike. Just incredible. I mean, the total count was 8 roaches and 9 swarm hosts, all about to die. I mean, Ike played just brilliantly.
Yeah, that was really nice. He held on as best as he could, and he had to just keep holding on, because that repeated commitment to roaches was eventually going to start to work against TLO. They're not a late-game unit. You don't really want to be sitting on roaches against high-power things like Void Rays and Archons and Colossus. And Ike had all of those things. Ike is a very tech-heavy Protoss. We've seen that throughout the last couple of days of play, and he demonstrates that once again. TLO's strategy was great, but it couldn't quite put the nail in the coffin.
I mean, it's a very clever concept. You can't stop roaches now. The burrow movement speed is so fast that you just charge right through. So great, multiple attacks on multiple fronts to keep the Colossus count low, transition into swarm hosts to begin to blast through. The only way that your opponent's ever going to be able to stop that is if he has just start to finish great positioning, placement, everything, and that's the only way that Ike was able to stay alive.
Well, it was very impressive from TLO, but unfortunately, we saw that turned around very quickly. And now, Ike takes it to 2-1. Soke is the last man standing, and I would always rely on Soke in pretty much any situation. I would rely on Soke if we're being attacked by sharks. I think he would be able to handle that situation in a cool and calm and quiet fashion. But this is Ike, who has already taken out Mana in PvP. And even if he goes down, that still leaves Targa, who is highly unpredictable.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited at the idea of Targa being the one to close it out. You get increasingly more unpredictable players as time goes on. You know, in this matchup, PvP, the map's going to be Derelict Watcher. A lot of tense starts to this game. It's just... Blink is really... not the best contained play when you compare how Blink does on other maps. This is just a very stressful map to play PvP on. I mean, there's just no space there's nothing to really control. Here there's just wide open blankness in the middle. And normally it's the later shapes of the third and fourth and fifth and sixth that make Derelict Watcher interesting, but you don't get that far on that map in
No.
that matchup.
No, I don't think so. This could go either way, though. Soke's PvP is not something that I've had a chance to see in a long time, so PvP is a matchup that some Wings of Liberty players were very comfortable with, and then in Heart of the Swarm they started saying, oh, I hate this matchup now, I have this feeling of coin flip going on. But as we know, Soke is the only person to ever win a coin flip tournament, so I think this will bode well for him here.
So good, yes, and of course coin flipping, according to the internet, which is the really the ground spring for intelligent discussion.
Naturally.
Protoss with Protoss it is a coin flip.
Absolutely. I mean, it's 99.9% coin flip and 1% the way the wind is blowing that day.
For anyone who is new to StarCraft competitive play, John and I are lying.
Yes.
Protoss with Protoss is a very
so.
interesting matchup. A lot of cool stuff, but it's just tense. It
is very tense. It's a knife edge match.
Yeah. And it's weird because it's a knife edge just at the start, and then things begin to calm down once you get to 2 base, and then stay pretty calm as the game continues. And then once the Colossus count gets high enough, then it can feel a little bit more knife edge again.
Yeah. That's absolutely the case. And between two really good players, I think PvP can be very exciting. I think it's a matchup that's actually very cool right now, and has been cool really since Heart of the Swarm. It was towards the end of Wings of Liberty, it was starting to get there, when we were seeing a lot more sort of airplay. To plug my own player, I recall Crank versus Hero at MLG Rally, where that series actually went on. It was a big extended series. It went all the way to the final map, and we saw Crank pulling out things like double Stargate Phoenix and all sorts of really cool stuff. And at that point, PvP was actually feeling really, really snazzy. And it is still fun. But the thing is, there are so many options in PvP, and it's really hard to scout all of them. You often see sort of a build, what appears to be a build order loss, more so than anything else.
At the same time, though, there's starting to be these, I don't want to call them build order losses, but like build order forces, where you, for instance, can go for 3-gate mothership core pressure to shove your opponent way far back, and then expand and double Phoenix, as you said. We also see that the Oracle, with that speed boost, is increasingly becoming the biggest controlling factor in the matchup across the board. Once upon a time, Blink and 4 gates were the biggest, but now, I mean, with the existence of the Oracle, you have to stay relatively pulled back. You have to be ultra careful of that swinging in. And suddenly that is the tool that players use to be able to build extra pylons around the map.
That is very true. Nothing worse than Oracle in your mineral line when you don't have anything to stop it. It can quite literally end the game on its own.
For sure.
Alright folks, here we go. Derelict Watcher will be the venue. Potentially it is match point here for Norway. To the north, or southwest position, in fact. I'm too used to Ike being from the grim darkness of the frozen north, but in this case he gets the wonderful lush lands of the southwest. In the Blue Trunks playing Protoss from Carnage Esports, it is Ike versus his opponent, the last man standing for Germany. They looked like an absolute powerhouse yesterday, but Norway taking them to pieces in surprising fashion. In the Red Trunks playing Protoss, it is Soke.
I can't believe how well Ike played in that last game, and there was just so much difficult positioning, difficult decision making, and where to send which unit, how to respond to all the innumerable counterattacks. Ike just made great response after great response. Sokka, though, is the sort of player to trick. He's not really a tricky player. He does do pretty normal-looking stuff, but like we saw yesterday, he's more than willing to do something like build an Oracle and harass, and then build 2 more Oracles against Zerg. And in this matchup, one misread trick is death.
Yeah, very much so. That Oracle, I mean, that did so much damage. I mean, it was only through Damaga's brilliance that he managed to come back in that game, and he ended up still losing anyway, but Sokka had all the cards at that point after doing just horrendous damage to the opponent using the Oracle into 2 more Oracles build, which apparently the Zerg player did not expect. And I don't blame him for not expecting that. That was a little crazy, but we have seen that Oracle heavy play on Habitation Station. It's perhaps something that players need to be looking out for on that map.
And it looks like we are seeing Ike do just 2 in gas. It's a little bit calmer, more slow-paced of a play, but Sokka's just going straight for 3 in each gas. From Sokka, we're almost certainly going to see a Zealot coming out defensively. He might go Zealot and cancel, but Ike looks like he wants to 2-gate. Oh, there's a 2nd gate right now, so... Right now, Ike's probably looking to do some gateway pressure, and Sokka's probably looking to do some Stargate pressure.
He might. Sokka can be a bit tricky in PvP. We have seen him. He likes his Dark Templar from time to time. That might end up happening, but we'll keep an eye on what Sokka is doing. He's producing a Stalker here. Gonna go for a quick scout. We'll see if he decides to build something in his base or something outside of his base.
Well, interestingly, we're seeing no Mothership Core from Sokka yet. He's saving his gas up a lot. Now this is a very weird play. That Stargate, I'm very surprised to see that. I mean, I suppose Sokka wanted to see his opponent's base first, but I mean, he could have gotten that Stargate up a little bit quicker, but no big deal.
I wonder what's coming out of that Stargate. You're suspecting an Oracle here?
Almost certainly. I mean, Phoenixes are still awesome, but Oracles are just the much more well-rounded, strong choice.
That is true. Let's see where that goes. And in the meantime, so far, nothing really out of Ike except for just double Stalker production, which is absolutely fantastic for gaining map control. A good number of units, maybe poking a little bit, denying any kind of 4-gate pressure. Ike gonna put down his own Stargate here a little later, and it is actually gonna be a Phoenix. Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Alright. You know, this is both dangerous and awesome. It's dangerous because you can die to exactly what Ike is moving across the map with. The Mothership Core is kind of getting a little bit floated off into the distance. It doesn't have enough for a Photon Overcharge because he delayed it. Yep. The Phoenix count is only at 2, which means he doesn't have enough to be able to lift and kill at the same time. So he really needs these extra gateways 2 and 3 to finish super fast. But he can pick off the Mothership Core from Ike.
Yes, he can do that. The question is, will he have the control to do it while simultaneously being able to fight against a superior number of Stalkers? Because that's a good set of shots here from Ike. But there's the pickup and the recall out. There we go.
Oh my god. With 2 life left on the Stalker.
That was nice timing, I gotta say. That was really nice. But Sokka forces that away. So the initial threat of taking damage from that didn't happen.
And I don't think Ike could be playing this off smarter. He's going, uh-oh, I saw Phoenix 3-gate. Well, I'm going to expand behind the pressure. That's almost always a reliable play whenever you do the early shove back. But now he's going, oh man, I saw Phoenixes. I need something that can deal with gateways and Phoenixes. Void Ray, a weird choice, an uncommon choice, but I think the right one in this spot. It can annihilate those Stalkers so quickly.
There is, however, a risk. Sokka may be able to pick off that Void Ray with good Phoenix control, or at least weaken it, to allow him to really apply some pressure here. So Ike's got to keep that Void Ray in the center of that army. He's got to protect it with the Stalkers here. And there are a lot of Phoenixes, and Sokka's really looking for that Void Ray. He wants to get it. And already the shield's gone on the Nexus.
Gosh, Sokka is just so good. These are the tricky plays that make Sokka very hard to play against. And I think Ike might just decide to sacrifice this Nexus. He doesn't have a great angle.
Yeah, I think engaging here might be suicidal. He could lose the entire game. And he knows Sokka still hasn't expanded yet. Ike putting down another gateway of his own. And if Ike actually ends up with 3 Void Rays and another gateway, then he might be able to just shove forward and do significant damage. Sokka gets full scouting information, however, sees, alright, you've run a boost to the Stargate. There's another Void Ray coming out of there. I know what's happening. I can see another gateway.
Now, in this spot, it's kind of odd to see the Twilight Council down. Even though it is 1 base, Sokka can get Charge and an Archon and be pretty set against most anything that Ike can build with his mix of units. And we're seeing Sake's not in the right position. Oh, he barely manages to get that force field up in time. He has to pull back and try to target down these Void Rays, which still do a pretty sick amount of damage.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough Phoenixes to kill that. It's not going to happen. He's going to have to pull back. He's bringing in some Stalkers, which is fine, but it's only fine because the Void Rays can't have charge for a little while. And now the Phoenix is right on top of the Void Rays. It looks like we're going to see a one dead Void Ray at least. Good lifts coming out here from Soke as well. A second Void Ray goes down to Stalkers before the charge comes back up. Brutality coming out right here from Soke. Those really key units from Ike are now dead.
And now we're starting to see it's just a basic ground army numbers. 8 Stalkers for Soke and 3 Zealots versus 6 Stalkers for Ike. Both players have 4 gates as well.
Well, here we go. There's another Void Ray coming in from the side here. The Phoenix count
huge.
is down to 1. Oh, so much damage being done to that. But Soke is losing Stalkers to it, and the Zealots are in the mix as well. Soke's control not ideal here as Ike manages to take out a few more Stalkers. But is that even going to be enough? There's still 10. Soke is just committed to this entirely.
God, Soke just played this out beautifully, and now we're seeing Ike doing his damnedest to bring these probes off, to try to stay alive, to try to just get a couple of great shots off. I mean, Ike's controlling very well given the circumstances, but Soke has been in this position many times before.
Oh, yeah.
He's not even going to go for the probes. He's going to maintain that Stalker lead, and with that Phoenix lift just disabling one, Soke is just increasing the value of those Stalkers so much.
Indeed.
Down goes another 5-2.
Yeah, I think this is going to be game over, unfortunately, for Ike, who was not quite able to make that happen. He is able to push Soke back, but another round of Warpins should finish him off there. He couldn't build another Void Ray. He was using all of his gas to produce Gateway units at that point. You can't really do both, and now Soke moving in for the kill.
Gosh, I mean, Ike played a very strong game, but there's the
GG.
GG. Soke wins. Wow.
Very nice.
Cool play.
Yeah, that was a nice PvP. Nice bit of back and forth going on right there. But Soke showing veterancy apparently matters in this matchup. He played that out really well. His decision-making was rock solid. His control, very, very good indeed. Certainly up to the challenge of Ike there. And that leaves Targa as the wild card here and the final ace for Norway. If they cannot beat Germany here, they will go down to the third place match.
I mean, this is very different than what we saw yesterday, where it was group stages. You lose once, no big deal. You can still advance through and qualify, and it's more or less the same. But now this is an all-or-nothing match. Whoever wins this goes to the finals. Whoever doesn't is out.
That is very true. Targa versus Soke, though. I'm going to be honest. Targa's great and all, but we are talking about Soke here. Unless we see something, even if that something really tricky comes out from Targa, Soke is more than ready to deal with that stuff. He's a very safe player. So I don't know if I fancy Norway's chances going into this final game here.
Yeah, I mean, if you just looked at sort of basic math, you'd say, yeah, well, Soke's more consistent. He plays longer-term games. He does have those tricks up his sleeve, but he rarely does big committal all-ins. Targa, I haven't seen in a while. You know, there's been a little bit of a, break in the StarCraft 2 scene. Well, I was talking yesterday about, Bly loves those all-ins, and then he played one of the most elegant long games I've ever seen in TVZ. So I think Targa has some potential to surprise in that regard. I'm more than comfortable to say I don't know Targa's playstyle right now.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of it. It was extremely aggressive, very much so.
Mm-hmm.
But if he ends up pulling that out against Soke, I don't think it'll work. Soke's too safe. He can't really die to the early game pressure. It's very rare that we see that happening.
The last map is Frost, which is huge spaces. I'm trying to think of anything that Targa could be tricky with in that sense.
It would be a little difficult, I gotta say. And Soke, by the way, has always came out last for Germany. Looks like Soke needs 5 minutes, so we will be taking a break. But Soke always comes out last, which means, so far in the tournament, he is undefeated.
Wow, I guess that's right. Man, Germany's just been performing brilliantly. Targa's back in there. It looks like Saka is requesting his 5-minute break.
That is standard Soke build right there.
Yeah, we do believe that the players are humans who deserve to have breaks as organisms.
Yep. But that's cool, because that means that I can play that music that you sent to me. What is it exactly?
Oh, well, it's a song called I actually don't know the name of it. I know it's track 5 on this album. Called The 100 in the Hands.
I believe it's called Keep It Low.
Oh, keep it low.
Which is good advice, by the way, for mineral gathering within StarCraft 2. Make sure you keep that bank low. Good thing to do.
That's a great point. Well argued.
I have to wonder if
Nice.
this is going to be one of your good tracks or one of your why the hell do you listen to this tracks, though.
You know, I can send you some why the hell do you listen to